Howdy folks, Mackie here with Mackie Red Horsemanship. This is Soviet's first time working with the flag. I like using the flag on the end of the stick. Horses are always a little nervous about it at first. So it makes it much easier to get a horse to move off. But eventually, you know, I really want Soviet to learn to trust me. With no matter what, I might walk up to him with. So I had the lead rope and halter on him. You might not be able to see that from the distance, but so I went over to get the lead rope. I always like doing this flag work with a lead rope and halter because I can teach the horse to kind of trust me a little bit. So I'm just going to ask him to move off, and you can tell he's a little apprehensive about this whole flag idea. He's not really sure, you know, about accepting that. And so you're going to see him hop around here a little bit because he's nervous. He's you know, he doesn't know what that thing is, and so it's going to take him a little time. But by the time this video is finished, you're going to see that he's going to figure out that I'm not going to hurt him, and he can trust me. So we're just going to kind of work on circles here. I think it's important that you try to prepare your horse for things that are going to happen to him in a two-legged world. You know, if he lived in the wild, if you would, it's probably unlikely that he would ever come across a plastic bag or a scary tarp or things like that. But in a two-legged world, those things exist every day. Our world is covered up in plastic, and so it's a convenient thing to have around to kind of get our horses used to the idea that things like this are going to happen. But as long as I'm there, as long as your leader's there, well, you don't have anything to worry about. You just look to your two-legged leader for direction. So that's why I really like using this flag on the end of a stick. Now, I use a stick with a plastic bag on the end of it, mainly for one reason, well, actually a couple of reasons, to teach my horse to trust me, but the stick also makes it possible for me to be further away from the horse when I'm trying to get him to accept this plastic bag. So that stick is about 4 feet long. We have them on the website. You can find them if you want. That stick is 4 feet long, and so my arm's about 3 feet long. So that gets me right around 7 feet, and that's going to be very difficult for a horse to kick out 7 feet and catch me and hurt me. And I hear of folks all the time who find themselves in a position where they've gotten kicked or gotten run over or whatever the case may be, mainly because I think they're a little too confident in the colt, and they're putting way too much trust in a young animal that's fearful, and that's always going to get you hurt. Now, I know that we've got to get horses to accept things, but I can't work with horses if I'm laid up in the hospital, or worse yet, if I'm not around to work on horses. So I'm all about being safe, not only for the horse. I want the horse to be safe, but I want to be safe. And it's really all about me. It's about me being able to do this for as long as I can do this without injuries. It's not, you've heard the old saying, it's not if you get hurt, it's when you get hurt. Because chances are probably pretty good if you're messing with horses for any length of time, you're going to wind up getting hurt. I think the important thing is to minimize the damage that happens to us and minimize those opportunities of getting hurt by using these tools: a lead rope, halter, stick, string, a stick with a plastic bag or a flag on the end of it. I think these are all ways to keep us, the humans, safe, while at the same time we're teaching the horse to accept these things that we're asking the horse to accept. Now you'll notice I'm starting to move that plastic bag around a little bit more, and Soviet's also starting to get a little more nervous about it, and that's fine. The more energy I'm going to put into this flag, I would expect him to get more nervous. But I'm just going to keep going along, just a little bit of energy in the stick and the flag, because I want him to see that it's not going to hurt him, and that the more he runs around and gets nervous and jumps around, all that's going to do is just create more work for him. And in the course of this first half of this video, Soviet's going to begin to begin to realize that running in circles isn't getting him away from this plastic bag. And maybe if he could just slow down enough to figure out what it's all about, maybe it's not that big a deal. And before this video is over, you're going to see he's going to begin to accept it and realize it's really not that big a deal. And you're wondering why I tapped him. Well, I asked him to go forward. He was just hesitant, and I said, well, you can either go forward or I'll tap you with this bag. Choice is yours. And of course he made the good choice by going off. But you notice that my lead rope is starting to bounce now. He's more at ease, more relaxed. I'm getting myself closer and closer to the colt by just kind of reeling in a little bit of lead rope at a time in my left hand, and slowly getting closer and closer to him with this flag. And pretty soon we're going to reach out here and I'm going to touch him with it eventually. You see now I'm waving the flag more up in the air, more toward him. I don't want to wave the flag in front of him, and I encourage you, don't wave your flag in front of the horse, because you're just going to make him slam on the brakes and turn around, and then you're going to kind of be in a little bit of a fight. So keep the horse moving forward by keeping the flag behind the horse's withers, not up in front of the horse. So we're just working side to side here, doing just his lunging work, groundwork. So we're able to accomplish several things at the same time. And I think that's one of the things that happens. People are always a little amazed at how fast I'm able to get things done with the horse. But what they don't see, I think, sometimes, is that these are all just pieces of a puzzle that I'm slowly putting together. And in the course of time, as the puzzle gets more and more complete, it gets easier and easier for the horse to find those pieces. So then he accepts things much quicker, and before you know it, the puzzle is together. People go, wow, that was really, you did that pretty quick. When really it's a process, it's a program. And we all need a program in working with horses, whether it's colts, whether it's older horses. It just, it doesn't matter. You need some sort of program that works, and a program that works for you. And that's what I try to teach folks at clinics and demonstrations, and folks who come out and spend a few days on the ranch with me, is to teach them what a program looks like. And every horse is a little bit different, but your program needs to be the same. It needs to be a thoughtful, well thought out program that gets a horse going the direction that you want him to go. Now I'm going to ask Soviet to take a look at this flag, and you can see he does not like it on his face or around his nose at all. So we're not going to fight that very long. I'm just going to ask him if he'll let me put it up here on his shoulder. He doesn't like the idea of it, but you watch. He's going to accept that when he realizes that if he runs in a circle, that he's just going to have to keep moving in a circle. But once that flag touches him a little bit, he'll realize that, well, that's not hurt, that doesn't hurt, and I'll get to stand still here if I'll just take a second, try to sort out just exactly what he wants. And as you can see, he's nervous, doesn't want any part of it. So we just keep chipping away at it. I'm close enough now that I can let the bag rest on him when he goes in a circle, and pretty soon he's just going to stop and go, so what is it you're trying to do? And I'm going to go, well, I just want to rub you with it. And then I'm going to take it away. Let him rest for a little bit, and then I'll pick the flag back up and sit it on his shoulder and try to rub him with the end of this stick and that flag. And pretty soon, he's able to accept it. He doesn't like it much, but that's all right. I don't blame him for that. But he does have to learn to trust me and to accept that no matter what's going to happen, I'm not going to hurt him. Because in the second half of this video that we're going to put up, hopefully today or tomorrow, he's going to wear his first saddle. So this flag, this stick, all of this that you're seeing happen is really just getting him ready for the next phase of his training. And he doesn't like it. The biggest mistake that most people make when a horse refuses is they'll stop, they'll put their flag down, and they'll grumble at their horse because he won't stand still. You'll see when I put the flag in front of him, he doesn't like that very much. So I'll just go back to something that he likes. So the worst thing that you could do is stop doing what you're doing, especially when the horse is moving around. Excuse me. That means that you're going to have to stay calm. Remembering those 3 principles of horsemanship: intuition, control, that means stay calm, and the last one being trust. And if you can stay calm, your horse will learn to trust you. So oftentimes what I'll do, especially if I see a horse is a little nervous about this whole bag deal, is I'll just go for a walk. And I'll slap that bag on the ground in front of him. And in that horse's mind, he's thinking, well, I'm able to run this horse off, or rather run this bag off. So that bag is not as big a deal as I thought it was. And so you might try that no matter what it is. If you're using an object, an umbrella, or something else that your horse is a little nervous about, you might try just walking off with that object and keep messing with it like I am here with the flag, the stick and the flag, but just walk off so he learns that he can kind of chase that thing away. It's not that big a deal. So again, he's still jumpy, but I want you to notice how quickly he begins to accept the flag. So the next video is going to complete this, and then it's going to be his first saddle. So I hope that you can stick around for that. Appreciate all your support. Anything that we can do to help you with your horses, I sure hope you'll email us, and we'll see you down the trail.